And we are recording once again. Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Good morning, Fenton. Doing wonderful. How you doing?
Great. Still black. Woo! Let's get it.
Black and beautiful, baby.
Black and beautiful. All right. Welcome to Products of Circumstance podcast, everyone. It's the podcast with Ken Skeen and myself, Fenton Joseph. We discuss mental health and mindset matters through the lens of Black men. We cover topics like family and relationship trauma, relationships with money, self-worth, positive thinking, gratefulness, and so much more. This show is unscripted, unfiltered, and mostly unedited. We choose our topics randomly. Only Ken knows what we're going to talk about, and he'll tell us in just a second. But before we do that, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Okay, so that you'll be notified when we release a new episode. Or one of our clips, which is like a little short, clip of an episode, a little nugget of wisdom you can get in 2 to 3 minutes, or one of our YouTube shorts, because the reels are popping. All right. And other than that, please share with somebody. If you get something out of it, share it with somebody so they can get some of this wisdom and education and help them along their emotional journey as well. All right. That's all I got to say. What are we talking about today, bro?
All right. Today, topic of the day will be being your biggest enemy. So trying not to be your biggest enemy. What does that mean?
I feel like I punched myself in the face.
So I mean, things are gonna correlate with each other when we talk about different episodes. But being your biggest enemy. So telling yourself something can't be done, stressing yourself out. Telling yourself you're not worthy, you're not able to accomplish something in life, a task at hand, just being your biggest enemy, setting up your own roadblocks. That's a big one. People actually set up their own roadblocks in their head most of the time. Just these imaginary roadblocks of why something cannot be completed, accomplished. You're right over there.
Yeah, I was just thinking about a roadblock visual in my head. It's funny. Go ahead.
But so being your biggest enemy, right? Bringing up the past. People say don't worry about the past so much. Worry about the present. Mm-hmm. So when you worrying comes from past events, and when you think too much, you're thinking about the future. Just worry about the present. What's in front of you? What's the task at hand? Mm-hmm. Worry about that step in front of you, not the entire staircase. I've used this analogy before. Fenton and I have used this analogy. Don't worry about the entire staircase. Just look for your goal, right?
Love that one.
In previous episodes, we've talked about, being in the landfill of life, and you keep peeking up to see, all right, where's that goal at? My goal is to get over there, capture the flag. All right. Worry about your next step.
Right.
Don't be your own enemy. Don't set up your own roadblocks. Just worry about your next step. Get through that fog, and you'll make it. You'll be fine. Right. If you were able to make it through this point in your life, we're talking to these, 20, 30, 40, 50 something year olds. You've made it this far. I'm sure you can look back. I'm sure you can look back in your life and think about these hard times that you never thought you would have made it past, right? Whether it be, let's do something that's going on with our family right now, like a death in the family. People don't think they can make it past that, especially when someone who's a stone in your family passes away. But life does move on, and you celebrate their life, and you think about the present, and you celebrate, right? But don't make it a roadblock either, because you must move on with life. When it comes to maybe a project at work, you've had projects in the past, and you made do, and you were able to complete them. But during the project, maybe, I'm never going to get this done. I don't have enough time. But somehow you pulled it out, and now you're here again. So just remember, don't set up roadblocks. Just think about the task at hand and get through it. On your side, Fenton, anything that has happened maybe recently or in the past that you look back now and say, what was I thinking? Why did I make it so difficult on myself?
Yes, Ken. So a recurring theme that I keep hearing is the past. And what it makes me think of is when we create these roadblocks, it's all in our heads because we're thinking about our past experiences. And it can be past experience as in I've been here before and I had a bad experience or a negative experience, and I'm expecting that I will have the same type of experience in the future. Or it could be something you said like a death, which is something that happened in the past, right? Like somebody died. They're not currently dying, they died. So they're gone, but you're still holding on to the grievances and the pain and bringing that into your future. So again, what I'm hearing is, when we set these roadblocks for ourselves, we're taking something from the past and bringing it into our present and our future, and even projecting it into our future. And that definitely sounds like a recipe for failure, because things don't have to be as difficult, as painful, as challenging as we make them if we have a different set of expectations than what happened in the past. If we have a different attitude, than what the attitude we had yesterday. Just to stick really quick with like the grievance thing, because that can be really hard for some people, depending on who that person is. I would say,
my apologies.
Just doing a podcast. That's good. One of the things I always say is that I've been very, very blessed that my family circle, my immediate family circle, has not been broken. Immediate, well, now that I'm married, immediately means my wife and my kid, but my mother, father, and my brothers, thank God to this day, they're all still here. And, you don't know what you're going to experience, what your experience is going to be like when you lose somebody really close to you, I always say that, until it happens to you, you can't call it. So when people like grieve differently, you got to respect it and tread lightly. You can't tell somebody, to move on and, they're in the ground, just, you got to live on, live life for you or whatever. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable giving somebody that advice, because I don't know what it's going to be like for me. But what I can say is that we do need to have a framework for moving forward and for still having some type of positivity, for still finding joy, a way to bring those things into the future as well. From what I understand, when you lose somebody really close to you, that pain never goes away. And it's not like I've never lost anybody like close to me that I love. I have. And the pain doesn't go away, but you do, as you said, remember the good times. Those are things you can bring forward. So it's like you can bring stuff from the past, but bring the good stuff. Right.
Right.
You had a bad day on the job. Doesn't mean tomorrow's going to be a bad day. What good happened? Did everything suck the whole day? Was your outfit nice? Like maybe your boss chewed you a new one, but you look good taking that whooping. Like maybe you had a really good lunch at this new Mexican place. I don't know. Was there a bright spot in any of it, that we can find and say, let's bring that. So just to wrap up this quick thought that I'm having, which is not quick, I'm thinking maybe it's not possible or reasonable to tell somebody, don't bring anything from the past. Maybe that's not reasonable. But maybe what would be helpful is to say, hey, bring the good stuff. Just go through all the negativity, sort through it, filter through it, find the bright spots, hold on to that, and let that manage and inform your expectations and your, ideas about what the future is going to be. And it sounds like hard work, actually, but I think it's good work, and it can make your life a little better.
Yeah, it's definitely healthy. I'm going to wrap back to what you were saying, bringing the good to light. That's what you want. You want that. Look, easier said than done. Always try to be positive. I understand that not everyone can do that, in the sense of you've taught yourself already to look for the negative. You have to unteach yourself that. Mm-hmm. And bringing your positive highlights of the day, which I feel that a lot of people, I'm not saying most, I'm not using a percentage, but I do feel a lot of people will take a bad moment in a day and it turns out, all right, in your head, well, it was a bad day. All right. Was it though? All right. Like Fenton just said, you had a nice outfit on it, as an analogy. All right. So let's say at work, your boss does rip it into you, right? But it was like a 5-minute benefactor. Okay. Is it a bad day? Is it a bad 5 minutes? Because you can choose And yes, I said it. You can choose whether or not you want to continue that bad energy for the rest of the day, or you can choose to, all right, I'll digest it. I'll understand it. And now let me move on and correct the rest of my day, whatever it may be. And yes, when you were talking about a death in the family and people, how they want to mourn. Yeah, I never want to put that on anyone. I've lost very close members of my family. And there are times that I still will be alone and cry. Yeah, because it hurts still. But I also do remember the good times.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to remember the most of that person, the good times we had together. But again, when it comes to, just not being your own enemy and just reflecting on the good for the day, it's going to be a lot more positive for your mind, for your soul, just for your core, to remember the good things of the day. Don't ever say you had a bad day. Just say you had a bad moment. And I understand people just have a lot of things happen in one day that are bad, but how often really is that? Yeah. When you really think back, most of the time it's just bad moments in a day. All right. If you have $10, I know we've used this analogy. I said, if you had $10 and you lose $1, and then Fenton said, well, if you have $10 and you lose $9, you still got $1. You still got $1.
Still rich.
You know what I'm saying? And then you fall asleep and you wake up again and you get to do it all over.
That's right.
So just remember that thought process also. It's okay to be positive to yourself, and it's healthy. And I think more people need to just do that and center themselves and just have a healthy mind frame or mindset on, when they reflect what happened for their day or the day before, whatever it may be, because it's just going to lead to, if you had a bad day and you wake up just pissed off about that day before, you'll be pissed off again. So you're just leading to another day of what? Of negativity?
Yes.
That's not helping you.
You said something, I got excited for a second because you said something that was like really important. Like, you said it's okay to be positive to yourself. I'm gonna add on to that. It's okay to be positive in times of negativity. Right? So like with things are like, I think sometimes people feel, I don't know if it's guilty about being positive or guilty about, like being joyful. You and I both experience this a lot. Like people are like, oh, why are you so happy all the time? And it's like, well, I don't understand why just because something isn't going well in life that I have to be unhappy. It's a choice. It is a choice. And I think, people struggle. I'm not sure, but I think people may struggle with making that choice for themselves because, I don't know, cultural norms or something. Like you're supposed to be unhappy. I really don't know. I'm not really sure. But I do think that there's some type of, warring going inside of people about making that choice to be happy when things aren't happy. And I wholeheartedly just reject that. I'm like, I will find the bright spot. And I'm always looking for it. It's really hard to get me down, bro. It's like super hard to get me down. The other day when we were talking, before we started recording, and I was like, oh, I just need to vent.
Right.
And I'd actually stopped myself. I was like, I don't need to actually vent. Like I just needed to kind of hoosah a little bit. And then I talked a little bit about whatever I was experiencing. But me talking about what I'm experiencing isn't the same as me allowing it to like embody me and like take over my attitude and my spirit and everything. Because very shortly thereafter, I'm like, cool, I talked about it, it's done. And then we went on to have a very fun time, doing the podcast because whatever it was happened in the past. I'm not going to carry that through. And, Fenton is, somebody's watching this on YouTube and they're like, oh, Fenton looks so low energy, today. It was so weird. He must have been like going through something, whatever. Like you'd never know. You'd never know. Not with me. You never know because I'm always having a good time because there's always something to be happy about. Anyway, it's okay to be positive in times of negativity. Being your own worst enemy. Remember Mad TV, the Spy versus Spy?
Yeah, I remember that.
The black guy and the white one, and they're always like getting in each other's way, trying to do stuff. And it's like, it's life is hard enough when you have somebody else trying to plant landmines and sabotage you and stuff like that. Like, why on earth would you do that to yourself? Like, why would you choose to be the other person who's doing that stuff, tripping you up and everything else? Like, we have episodes where we've talked about other people, trying to get in your way and whatever. Excuse me. And it's like, if you could lay out the smoothest, clearest possible path for yourself to be successful today, to have peace today, to have joy today, to appreciate today, to be grateful for today, why wouldn't you choose to do that? It's a choice. Ken, we all know people we both know
Yes.
people like that. That is like, yo, are you really gonna be upset? You just woke up upset. Like, you really just woke up thinking about reasons to not be positive? Nah, not me, dude. I can't do it.
I've actually cut a lot of those people out of my life, but it is.
Yeah. We run into them, at barbecues, things like that.
Oh man.
Yeah. And it's funny I said that because I know what I caught, what I was just saying, but I was actually talking about me. But I know it's the same thing. Like, you need to put people. We're talking about being your own worst enemy. Please, y'all, don't do it to yourself. You've already spent the time doing the emotional work, having tough conversations with people who drain you. We talked about that on past episodes, that you don't have high energy conversations with, that you know what I'm saying? Like, you already did the work to put them out on the outside. So they're not on the inside of your life screwing things up every day, making your life hard. You already did that. Don't do it to yourself. You got rid of that already. Don't do it to yourself. Sounds crazy.
You know what? To some people in the audience, it may sound crazy though. So you know what sucks? That, like you said before, there are people that really believe if they feel too happy or if they're too excited for their own wins in life, that they'll look down upon. I don't get it. I don't know if that's a society thing, if it's a family thing, if it's the circle of the friends you keep thing. But God forbid you rooted for yourself and you celebrated your wins. If the people around you aren't celebrating with you, look who's around you. And you know what? It doesn't even matter if anyone around you doesn't celebrate your win.
Don't matter.
It doesn't matter at all because it's your life. So you celebrate it. You be happy for yourself.
I'll take myself out to dinner.
You know what I'm saying? Don't feel bad. And if the people around you make you feel bad for that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's time to take a look in the mirror real quick.
Yeah, man. Snip.
Seriously, again, we've talked about this. Everything starts to coincide with each other. Just do not be your own enemy. It's all right. You have a bunch of them out there. Trust me. A bunch of them are out there, and they call themselves your friends and family. Not all, not everyone. I'm not telling you cut people out for no reason. I'm just talking about trying to stay a little PC. But nah, don't take that negative energy. Don't take those bad thoughts that mean nothing. Really mean nothing. A bad moment in a day is not a bad day. It's a bad moment.
Right.
Get over it. All right. You can't get over everything so quickly, and that's fine. It's fine. It's a process. But you got through harder things in life, and you're still here.
That's right.
In this moment, watching or listening to this podcast, you're still here, and you're strong. You're a strong-minded person. If you made it this far, it's okay. Everything will be okay. And maybe you just need more people in your life telling you that. But if you don't have that, tell it to yourself. Everything will be okay. Just saying.
I was going to say, if you made it 20 minutes listening to us, you're a very strong person. You're strong-minded. You're strong-willed. You didn't click on an ad. You didn't scroll to another video. You're still here. You got this. Pruning. What do they call it? Bonsai trees, right? The artisan, he prunes the tree. He takes off the pieces of the tree that, like aren't helpful, conducive to like the growth or whatever, right? And you do the same thing with like roses and things like that. These plants, in order for them to grow to their potential and to be beautiful, they need to be pruned. You have weeds and grass, you got to pull the weeds out, right? We are very similar to bonsais and roses and things like that. We need to be pruned. And, it's important to understand that pruning hurts. I said snip, snip, right? When you talk about cutting other people off and all that stuff, like snip, snip, you got to cut that stuff off. Well, you got to cut some stuff from yourself too. Bad attitudes and ideas and ideologies and, negative self-talk and all those things. Don't be your own worst enemy. Cut that stuff off. It's like cancer, man. You got to go in there. You got to remove that growth. It's your own worst enemy, right? It's like, autoimmune. I'm not a doctor. I just play one on TV. But I'm saying, if you're attacking yourself, right? Like that's like an autoimmune disease, man. Like that's like you need medical attention for that. You have to fix that problem. Don't attack yourself. It's bad enough you have other things. Because, this is interesting. All right, so let's stay with like the autoimmune thing. And I'm treading on thin ice here because I really don't know a lot of medical stuff. But if you have an autoimmune disease, an outside, virus or something, right, outside of by foreign, virus or whatever, can come in and your body is in a weakened state. Right. So you're not only more susceptible to those things, but like the impact that they will have on you is going to be greater, more intense because your body is attacking itself and your immune system is weakened. So if you think about it that way, when you're being your own worst enemy, you're setting your own roadblocks, you're bringing your own negativity into your future expectations, your body, your mind, your spirit is weaker. You're in a weakened state. So all somebody has to do, Ken, say one little thing to you. You're dead. You can't take my feelings, my heart. You're so weak. You can't take it. Like, nah, man. You gotta shore yourself up. You gotta prune off all that negative stuff so that you could be strong, have a solid foundation, and so that way you can stand strong in the wind, right? Like a tree, right? If a tree doesn't have its roots planted solid, when the wind comes, it gets blown over. Or it breaks, whatever. You got to be able to bend. You got to be able to, deal with what life throws at you. And it's hard to do when you're attacking yourself. I'm not a doctor. Okay.
You know what? That's what you were saying just now. You have to be able to bend, right? So you don't break. So
sorry,
Dr. Fenton.
Dr. Fenton.
Yes. So yes, you have to be able to bend so you don't break. I like that. You got to take the punches, right? You got to take the punches that life will hand out to you. There'll be plenty of them. Life will kick you very hard when you're down. But again, what's the old saying, right? You dust yourself off and you get back up. That's real. That's very real because life will knock you down. But if you don't get back, it was a Rocky Balboa. What did he say in the song? Life's going to beat you down, but it's not how many times you get beat down, it's how many times you get back up.
That's right.
That's real, man. That's a very just energetic, positive. Get back up.
Yeah.
Get up.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
This past week. Good. Sorry.
Okay. I've said it in previous episodes. Don't think we're sitting here in a pedestal. Listen, I'm in the career that I'm in right now because life said, okay, construction, 2009, click, let's get you off that pedestal. What you've been doing your entire life, that's all you know. Okay, now learn something new. And that was just one thing. That was after baby number 2 came.
Right.
So it's real. Don't think for 2 seconds that I'm not talking or Fenton's not talking from life experience. Please. This is not read in a book.
No.
This is just real thought processes of being positive and always just saying, my wife hears it a lot. She hears it a lot from me. My famous words are, I'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, mine too.
I'll figure it out. Well, don't worry about it. Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Not let me go, sit in the corner and eat bonbon. No, I'm going to figure it out. And if you say that more often to your, but if you can tell yourself this, if you can just talk to yourself, people call it meditation. Okay, talk to yourself. 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, and just give yourself those positive affirmations, in the previous episode, positive affirmations. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And not everything in life is easy. Get it. Life's not easy. And anyone who has an easy life, do your thing. But when you hit that roadblock, those are the ones that tend to break instead of bend, because they haven't been through the test of life. So you got to be able to bend.
It'll be okay. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
It's going to be okay. Like, it'll be fine. All those things. Like, I say that stuff so much, like, all the time. Not being your own worst enemy. You have to put things in context, right? Like, if you choose to have a narrative about something, I should say, you get to choose what the narrative is going to be about any situation that you have to go through. And so if you're not going to be your own worst enemy, it means you're going to make that choice for the right narrative, the right context that's going to help you get through it, as opposed to letting somebody else inform what that context is. Imagine if you had an enemy in your life who constantly told you what was going on. Like you woke up and somebody else told you what was going on in your life and described it in a way that they wanted to, that would mess you up, that would undermine your confidence. Like, you don't have that. There is nobody standing over you when you wake up in the morning saying, listen, this job you have, it's the worst. Okay. It's going to suck so bad today, man. Let me tell you about all the terrible things people are going to be talking behind your back. The sale's not going to go through, and like, let me tell you, like, you're not going to eat the right stuff today. Like just imagine if somebody laid out for a whole negative day for you. It's like that. First of all, it's laughable because that would never happen, except it does happen. You do it. You're the one doing it. And, you have the choice every day to lay out what that narrative is going to be. You know what? The other day I caught myself, Ken, I was having a conversation in my head about a person that I know so I don't know about you, but I have conversations in my head before I have conversations with people.
Yeah.
I'm like playing out all the different ways that it could go, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And in one of these versions in my head, it wasn't going so great. Which is, it's kind of dumb. But I stopped myself. In my head. I said, Fenton, this isn't the version. This isn't the version that you're going with. This is not what we're going with. If we're going to make a choice about how this is going to go, this isn't the iteration. Let's go with the positive one where everything works out. And I'm telling you, it was in my head. It was 100% in my head. I was making it up in my head. And I said, well, Fenton, if you're going to make it up in your head, then you might as well make up the best possible version of how the conversation is going to go. Why do I even need to be prepared to have a bad conversation? I don't even want to think about that. I'm just going to focus on the positive outcome. And that's something that's new for me, because for me, what I thought was a great way to go about being diplomatic with people was to try to consider every possible angle. So that way, when I actually had a conversation with somebody, I didn't get caught off guard or thrown off. I want to be prepared, right?
Okay.
But we know control is fear, right? It's a manifestation of fear. You want to control every possible outcome. You want a specific outcome maybe because you fear an alternative outcome. You don't want that, so you try to control a situation so that you get this instead. And that is something that I've been thinking about since we've been doing this podcast more and more. And even in my self-talk, as I'm thinking about, I think it's totally fine to like have conversations, like with yourself or with other people in your head. But again, you make a choice about what that narrative is going to be. So let me just segue with that into, you get to choose what you say to yourself about how your day is going to go. It's your choice. There's no one else that gets to make that choice for you. So don't be your own worst enemy and just say, you know what? It's ridiculous how many times we come back to things like affirmations. It's crazy. But I mean, you said it, meditation, affirmations, like this is the stuff that I think you really are going to find the biggest shifts in your life if you start taking that stuff seriously and writing down how you want your day to go, writing down how you want to perceive yourself, writing down how others will perceive you. Because when you set a standard in your mind and you speak it out loud, now you have to uphold that standard. So you can't say things like, I am healthy and I take care of my body and my body is my temple and all these other things, and then go to, McDonald's every day and, get junk food or do whatever and be a sloth. Like you have set a standard and now you have to live up to it. And that applies to everything. It's not just like how you eat, it's interactions with people. It's the effort that you put into mastering your craft, getting better at what you do, reading books, whatever the case is. And so, one of these days we're going to just stop naming these episodes different things and we're just going to call it affirmations.
Does that apply to burritos?
Yeah, because you could get the bowl from Chipotle instead.
I actually do get the bowl. I don't
carbs.
actually get the burrito. I get the bowl.
I had the bowl the other day. I could have gotten
just making sure.
It applies to everything.
I apologize.
No, it's true. It's like you can apply this stuff to every aspect of your life. And I think the more actually that you start to find... What?
Sorry.
I think the more that you try to find different ways to apply it to things that may seem like, there's no reason for me to apply it there. Just as like a silly example, like let's say you don't like taking out the garbage at home, and you create an affirmation that says, I take care of my home, or I am organized, I am clean, whatever the case is. And then you start living up to that. Well, you see the garbage overflowing. Oh, that's not clean. That's not organized. That's not you taking care of your home. You're not living up to the standard that you've created. You're being your own worst enemy. Now somebody is creating a different narrative in your head where you look at the garbage and you say, it's okay to leave it there. Uncleanliness is okay with me. That's a different narrative. That's a different affirmation. Either one is going to get reinforced, right? But if you start creating that new narrative and you start living up to it, all right, now you're taking the garbage out regularly. And now it's not a chore. Now it's something that you want to do. Now it's something that if it doesn't get done, it bothers you. That's...
I know.
Yeah. That's how I try to measure where I am in terms of my growth, in a journey in instituting some new habit, because all this stuff is habits, right? Is when the tension, the friction, right, in my head, in my spirit, whatever, dies down. And it's like, now it's not that, it's a challenge for me to get up and do it. Now it's, if I don't do it, I feel bad. Now it's, I must do it, and it's just a part of my day. And I don't even think about it. It's second nature. There's a continuum there, and you got to monitor yourself. Where are you? Because you're going to require different amounts of energy and effort, to get you over that hump, depending on where you are in that continuum from brand new habit to second nature, and being your own worst enemy means that you're constantly pushing back against that progress, where instead of moving along the continuum, you stay right here. You're setting up those roadblocks that are hampering and hindering your progress along the continuum. So don't do that. Make it smooth so that you can get to that place where it's a new habit. It's second nature. This is just how I live my life now.
Yeah. I actually like how you said it's going to take different forms of energy, or not forms, but different amounts of energy to make it into a habit, because that is true. You do have to break through those different barriers to turn something into a habit and make it so that it is part of your natural day. That's very important for people to understand that it's not that it's like, all right, well, Ken and Fenton are always so positive. It was progress to make sure that I stayed more and more and more positive every single day. And now it just becomes second nature of just being positive. Listen, I'm not saying that bad. I don't have a perfect life. Don't ever think that.
I do.
It's not a perfect life. I make my days feel perfect to me because I have a perfect family, and my children they're not perfect, but my children are perfect to me. My wife is perfect to me. And that's how I am. But I'm not saying it's going to be an overnight turnaround of, oh, I'm so positive. What's going on back there?
It's a truck going by. Sorry.
I'm not saying it's going to be, or we're not saying it's going to be an overnight thing where, all right, you're telling us be positive. It's not that easy. No, it's not. And it's a lot easier for you to be negative. So people do say, all right, I'll go with the easier path. All right. Because this positive thing, yeah, but why put that kind of energy into your head, into your daily life? It makes no sense. You're literally just beating yourself down. Again, the world will do that for you. So why would you do that to yourself? So I do love that you were saying, it's going to take some energy. It's going to take some time. It's going to take, you really grinding and digging in to say, this has to be a daily thing. Your analogy of taking out the garbage, where it becomes a daily thing of, I'm not living in filth. Well, it has to be a daily thing where you say, I'm a great person, or I love that I woke up this morning and I get to do this all over again. Or I love that I have this career right now that is maybe just a stepping stone to something better, or whatever it may be. You got to just really talk like that and turn it into a daily task, right? A daily task, air quotes, baby. To set the course in your brain of being a positive person to yourself and others around you.
Yeah, gamify it. See how much progress you're making and challenge yourself. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time, to think about this stuff and be like, oh, today I'm going to think about, like how much I enjoyed, I don't know, reading a page out of a book, and like compared to yesterday, like, did I find it more pleasurable or easy or whatever? Like, I'm not saying that this stuff is like super fun in the beginning. It becomes fun over time. I enjoy gamifying my life and really keeping track of everything that I'm doing internally and the external manifestation of the same. I enjoy things like setting a timer to see how quickly I can, get done with a task. Isn't that better than having somebody hanging over my head though, and saying, Fenton, this needs to get done in some time? Like, why don't I take the initiative to get better at being more efficient with my time, so that I can, use it the way that I want to, which is spending time with my family and doing things that I enjoy. Like, why not make that a priority? Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't set up your own roadblocks. Hey, listen, this sounds like the conversation is kind of circling back to the beginning where it started, which means it's a good place to wrap up. And I think hopefully, people got something out of this, like not setting up your own roadblocks. Don't hold on to the past, not carrying old expectations. Find the good in today, bring that through to tomorrow instead of the bad stuff. And, one step at a time,
Yeah. Well, Fenton, it was always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, sir.
Pleasure's always mine, my man. I appreciate you. And,
appreciate you too as well.
Yeah, you have yourself an amazing day. And
I think I am. It's raining outside. I actually love the rain.
I hate the rain, but the good news is it makes me stay inside and I get to do things like work, make music, so I get to do things I enjoy.
I love it because it cleans off all the roads, waters the plants, good to go.
Look at you, man. I'm going to make a new affirmation. Talk about appreciating the rain. I appreciate the rain every day. Anyway. All right, man. I'm going to let you go. Thank you. Peace.